So we're going to take a look at John Mayer's playing during the outro solo on Gravity from the Live in LA version. We're not going to look at the note for note analysis or anything like that, but we're going to look at 4 different sections and what he's doing there and how you can apply it to your own playing and kind of do your own thing with it, develop your own sound as well. So I'm going to play with the backing track. Each part we're going to start quiet and build our way up so you can get the full kind of structure of how he arcs things up. So let's listen to the first one now, and then we'll break down what's going on with it afterwards. So this one here, it's, some might argue is not really the start of the solo because he's still singing a little bit along with it, but he's playing along with, the chords here. We've got 2 chords we can start off with, just G and C in a nutshell, right? So it's in the key of G, but we start to, he starts to kind of play a little more bluesy and outside of it, and we'll get more into that later about how he does that, adds a little more edge, but right now he's just playing right along with it, playing with a thing called 6, and that just refers to the distance between these 2 notes, if you don't know what that means. I'm not going to get too into the theory, but just playing on these 2 strings here, right on the B string and the D string, just right here, that's 2 notes from the G chord, right? So he starts off with that, and he's doing it finger style too, right here. Sliding into it, and then it's climbing up the scale with the same thing in 6. And then right here, this is one note that is outside of the key. Just gives it a little more of an edge. And it does that right when it hits the C. And then goes down. And that's it. But it's just so nice that I'd start off with that one. The solo, you could say, kind of like really technically starts afterwards when he's doing these things that I'll admit I actually don't know what he's doing. I saw the video. He's doing this thing where he's bending the string back here, hitting harmonics, and it sounds so cool. But I don't really get into those kinds of techniques. So rather than fake it, I decided to start with that one. We'll skip past that, and let's now get to the part where it starts to first build up. So let's give that a listen, and we'll see what's going on. So much of what he did there is just laying out these themes and kind of developing them and then switching to other ones. It's definitely not like he's just kind of randomly, improvising. So this is kind of a big, clear distinction. The drums do a big fill and it kicks in, and then the horns, come in. And this backing track that, you hear me playing with, I've got available too for you to play. I'll put a link in the description down below and an end card at the end of the video too. You can just click and go right to it and try this stuff out yourself. But he's now going way up here, so he's kicking it up a notch here, throwing on the distortion, and he's playing up here the 15th fret B string, so it's the 5th of G. We've got big bend here, so it's just part of the G major pentatonic. You can think of it just outlining that little part of a G chord right here. So does it again. And then there's these little people call them double stops, 2 notes at a time, and hammers onto, and then a little. So now it's kind of in this position down here. So we've got. So it's bending up 1.5. So bending up to this C, and then here. So. And then kind of this big, it's not even like vibrato, it's more like just big bends and releases and slides down there. And that's it. So it's revolving around this position here and then getting to this position right there. And that's it with that section right there. Let's give a listen to the next one where we're going to get even higher up, really high bends. And let's hear how it sounds and we'll check it out. Now we're getting way up here, 20th fret, and bending way up. So we're bending to this D, and this is the 5th of G, and just bending up to it, and just vibrato, and just picking it over and over. And it's hard to just get this, you know, really exact. It's not meant to be perfect. It's supposed to be kind of really edgy, and kind of he's almost kind of releasing a little bit as he's going along, and then he's got these little bluesy licks. So that's part of the, you can think of the minor pentatonic or the blues scale, because here's our minor third, you know, kind of from this, you know, popular position here. And that's how, you know, he's building things up, so he's not just playing G major scale or G major pentatonic the whole time. And so he's starting off focusing on that, and then getting a little more out and out. And it's not like he's straight up just ripping up and down the blues scale, but just throwing in these little notes like this one right here. So that, you know, again right here. And just kind of like, you know, and I'm not playing it, when I was doing my example, I'm not playing it exactly how he's doing it, but just doing the general idea here. And then to finish it up, he goes down here, which is now getting real, that classic kind of bluesy sound. And then even more classic bluesy here. This part right from that G minor pentatonic. And then leading up when it gets to the C. Because this is now part of a C chord right here. These two notes. And then gets back to the main theme, which is the last one we're going to take a look at. So let's give that a listen and we'll check out what's going on with that. So this one is a classic example of just good tension and release. He's doing that bluesy thing, and it's adding so much tension. But then you can't just keep going forever with tension. He releases it right here, and this is really the peak of it all. And he does it by also a thing that I like to call recycling. He goes back to the original theme from the solo before the very beginning. So, and it's bowed back to the G major pentatonic too, focusing on that. So giving it now, it's like, oh, it's kind of coming back to home. It's much easier, just not so aggressive notes clashing. And so that is sliding up here. Here's our G, so sliding into this 9th fret, and then higher, and then a little extra here kind of gives it this sweet sound, and then back to the same thing. Somebody really holds it, and then he goes back to another recycling, coming back to a key theme, to the 6th, which he starts off this outro solo with. And then they kind of hold it all right, and then slides into that, holds it, slides in, slides out. And then that's it. And then he goes into the whole kind of volume volume swell thing while the band kicks out and they come back in with just a, you know, like rock ending. But that's kind of the end of the real solo section, and that is it. So those 4 things. So keep in mind, we've got 6, we've got lots of bends, there's all these little themes, these melodies, and he's developing them. He's clearly stating them, developing them, and then building off it, and just literally getting higher and higher to build things up, adding in some notes from the blues scale, adding in some classic blues things there, and releasing tension, and having these, again, themes that he's going back to and recycling ideas, so it's not just something constantly new, and that helps glue it all together with this unbelievably well structured solo. So if you've got your guitar and you want to try it out, play along the backing track right here, have fun with it, and I'll see you in one of the next videos.